I'm back, or I'm still here, just like Tisha Campbell. All right, let's get into it. This is two quick, short stories. Won't be here before you long. You know, that's what the pastor always says at church. And the next thing you know, you having dinner there and you're there till late in the midnight hour. But anyway, let's get into it. Jonathan Majors and Meagan Good. This is according to the New York Post. Jonathan Majors and Meagan Good secretly married during intimate ceremony at home. It's a lot of information coming out about Jonathan. Jonathan had his interview where he talked about his sexual assault when he was younger. Then we get the voice recording of him with his ex, Grace Jabari, where he says he aggressed her, i.e., he put his hands around her neck. And now a source has let us know that they are married. Jonathan Majors and Meagan Good have reportedly tied the knot. The pair allegedly married in secret in a small private ceremony at their home in LA, a source told Entertainment Tonight. The insider spilled details of the pair's alleged nuptials, claiming that Majors' mom married them and Good's mother was their witness. It's like I should have turned on the other light. Anyway, ET's source shared it was just the four of them. Another insider confirmed the news to People on Tuesday, March 18th, but did not provide details. The Post reached out to reps for Majors and Good for comment. So they say they married, y'all. They married in a secret private ceremony. His mama married them, and her mom was a witness. Why so they confirmed their engagement in November of 2024. So I'm not going to say why so fast, but kind of sort of why. So I thought they would want to have a big old wedding where he'd wear like, his musket bridesmaids dress, how they dressed back in the days, maybe like Harriet Tubman-ish, because we know that's Jonathan dresses like he's from back then. I kid. I mean, not about the way he dresses, but because that is how he dresses. Like he wears a musket and all that stuff. Anyway, they married, y'all. I's married now. That's what she's saying. All right, moving on. Let's get into somebody that we gonna talk about it. AnneMarie Wileys, aka 8.8. Now I remember these stories were coming out before, but then they kind of went away. But other ladies have come out. This is according to Page Six. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum AnneMarie Wileys' husband, Marcellus, accused of R-ing two women at Columbia University. Remember, other women have spoken out before. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum AnneMarie Wileys' husband, Marcellus Wiley, is facing two new allegations of R stemming back from his days at Columbia University. Two women filed lawsuits against the former football player earlier this month, claiming he sexually assaulted them in separate incidents back in the mid-90s, according to court docs obtained by Page Six. The first, Jane Doe, claimed that Marcellus, who previously faced assault allegations from other female students, invited her up to his single dorm room in October 1994. She alleged that the 6'4", 250-pound athlete immediately began pressuring her to have sex and got angry when she turned him down. Although the woman allegedly said no repeatedly, Marcellus threatened to tell everyone she was a slut, regardless of whether or not she slept with him per the filing. Marcellus allegedly told her she was too uptight and needed to relax, and cranked up the music on his stereo before assaulting her. She alleged in the filing that Marcellus then swung her legs on the bed, lunged towards her, and overpowered her, holding her down as he whispered to her, relax, enjoy it, stop crying, and stop fighting the feeling. I'm sorry that I did not give y'all a warning that they were going to be a bit descriptive. So I'm sorry about that. The then sophomore athlete was allegedly so frenzied and aggressive that he never removed most of her clothing, such as her sneakers, sweater, shirt, and shorts. After the alleged assault, Marcellus allegedly questioned if people in the hallway had heard her scream. He then kicked her out before his then girlfriend arrived. Although the Barnard student allegedly reported the incident to a school administrator, they urged her to not file a criminal complaint as her own reputation would be tarnished. The administrator allegedly said to her that her complaint would not be anonymous and that she would be known as the girl who destroyed a Black man's NFL dream. The second accuser claimed in court documents also obtained by Page Six that she was treated similarly by the university after approaching them about her alleged assault 1 month after the first woman's. In her filing, the woman claimed she and Marcellus had become friendly acquaintances after meeting in a psychology class. She alleged that he invited her to his dorm room one night to study, but that he was lying in bed when she walked in. The two allegedly spent about 15 minutes listening to music and talking when, without warning, Marcellus pulled away the sheet to reveal that he was completely naked from the waist down. Jane Doe felt trapped and terrified as the running back allegedly cranked up the volume on his stereo so that nobody would hear her if she screamed. Marcellus allegedly grabbed her by the back of her head with one hand and forced her face down to his genitals, telling her to suck his. You can imagine what. He then wrapped his thigh around the back of her neck and applied downward pressure, forcing her to perform oral sex on him at the time. The football player then allegedly forced her onto the ground, put a condom on, and AR'd her. Jane Doe allegedly wrote about the assault for a school project, which was reported to the university. However, the woman claimed the school told her to not file a police report to protect Marcellus's relationship. After allegedly sharing her story with several administrators, Marcellus was placed on academic probation. We talked about this, due to poor grades rather than for actual assault. And he was able to do schoolwork from home. He was placed on academic probation and they sent him home. We talked about this story when AnneMarie was a part of the franchise. Ooh, I keep saying her name, but again, I don't want to say it 3 times because y'all know she might try to appear. Both women claim Marcellus harassed them after coming forward about the alleged assaults. They are seeking unspecified damages. While the two accusers claim to have suffered from serious mental health issues as a result of the alleged assaults, Marcellus went on to have a decade-long career in the NFL. He married 8.5 in 2014 and welcomed 3 children together. He is also dad to a daughter from a previous relationship. Reps for Columbia University had no comment, while Marcellus did not immediately respond to Page Six. I'm going to go back up. When the first woman reported her incident, she allegedly reported it, and they told her that her report would not be anonymous and that she would be known as the girl who destroyed a Black man's NFL dream. Now, what's interesting is I was having a conversation with my friend about all this in 2023, November of 2023, to be exact, when 8.5 was, it was released that she was going to be on the show and all of this, all these other things. And there was a lot of talk on Twitter about him. And I just so happened to have screenshots because I knew it would be taken down. It's on record. Back in 2023, when we talked about it, we talked about how the survivor, the person who accused him, when it came out back then in 2023, and then if you notice, it kind of like went away. But she filed then because the Adult Survivor Act had closed that previous Friday when me and my friend were talking again in 2023 before, when it was released that AnneMarie was, well, Lord, 8.5 was coming on the show. It's on record. Now, there was a gentleman named James Stotteraux, James, and then Stotteraux. And it was at J Stotteraux on Twitter. It's now gone. His profile's now gone. But he tweeted, and I took screenshots back then because I knew. When it first came out about when it was announced that she was coming on the show, and then people started talking about there were women assaulted by him, and a woman came out and filed. This gentleman came out and spoke and said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is before these 2 women that we're talking about now, okay? This is another woman back in 2023. Before these 2 women that we're talking about in present day. He tweeted back then, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I worked for the Dean of Students' office during this time. Read it again. This is just the tip. This was back in 2023 when this other woman came out, before these two women in present day. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I worked for the Dean of Students office during this time. Multiple victims came forward. Despite knowing there was a pattern, the Columbia administration convinced each of the victims that they were at fault so that they wouldn't press charges. This is someone who worked for the Dean of Students office. So saw these women come in wanting to file charges, but being convinced by Columbia not to. Columbia harassed her. Someone commented under his comment and said, "This is the worst kept secret on campus. All the athletes knew he was a predator. It had been frustrating to watch him thrive. It has been frustrating to watch him thrive all these years. But now, hopefully, there is some light and justice. The school just wanted their star to shine." There was another comment under it, again, before it was deleted and his account gone. "I was a freshman in 94 and heard the stories, particularly around the Take Back the Night March. It was all hearsay, so I had no sense of the veracity, but often wondered what came of the accusations." Here's another one. "When I was there, a girl in my grade literally carried a mattress around with her to all of her classes as a sign of protest for how Columbia enabled this person to R her." The same university where the girl, then they talk about it again. Somebody else in the comments said, "Oh, this is the same university where the girl carried the mattress all school year across the stage for graduation." Somebody else commented under that same post, "I don't know of a single university that I trust to respond to a report of R the right way, but Columbia, baby F Columbia, they seem more egregious than most." And then they brought up again, remember the student who walked around the campus with the mattress on her back because the school enabled her RS. So again, we had somebody come forward in 2023 when it was announced that she was going to be on the show. And you have someone who worked in the Dean of Students office who saw them. I have the screenshots, who saw, because I remember going to the thread when it was there and then all of a sudden it was gone. This person worked in the Dean of Students, this James Stadero, and saw that Columbia made these women, harassed these women to the point of them retracting. And now here we are, fast forward 2 more years, and we have 2 other women speaking out. But I wanted to see if I could get into where she denied the first charges. Let me see. Speaks on husband's allegations. I can't find, because there was basically when she spoke on it before, it was okay. November 2023, Us Weekly did a story. All these pop-ups, y'all. RHOBH star 8.5, husband's Marcellus Wiley accused of sexual assault while at college in the 90s. So this was another woman. The accuser, remember, this one was back in 2023. The accuser claims that while a freshman at the college, she became friendly acquaintances with Marcellus, who was a sophomore at the time, due to traveling in the same circles. The lawsuit alleges that unbeknownst to the accuser, beginning in the fall of 1993, there had been multiple complaints about Marcellus from female students, all of whom claimed that he had sexually assaulted and or R'd them. According to the lawsuit, the accuser told Marcellus that she was a virgin, to which he replied, "Ain't nobody trying to have sex with no virgin." However, upon arriving to her room, the 250-pound defendant then lifted plaintiff, forced her face down. And you can imagine, use your imagination to figure out what the rest of it said, what he did. She said she couldn't breathe and she feared for her life. The accuser also names Columbia University in the suit, alleging its callous, negligent, reckless, and deceptive response to and handling of plaintiffs and other students' allegations was an unconscionable re-victimization of plaintiff, which caused psychological injuries, financial and academic damages. The lawsuit alleges that when the accuser reported the assault to university authorities, remember, this is the one from 2023. The lawsuit alleges that when the accuser reported the assault to the university authorities, administrators expressed fondness for the future NFL player who was a star running back for the school's football team and claimed the event was a misunderstanding. The lawsuit further alleges that the school's residential dean at the time told the accuser that Marcellus did not assault her because she was not from America, and therefore misinterpreted the defendant's conduct because people from different cultures interpret things differently. Baby, the way I tell you, I'm gonna light that school on fire. My God. We'll burn it to the ground. The suit goes on to claim that while Columbia administrators assured the accuser they would suspend Marcellus, he was instead put on academic probation for poor grades and forced to complete the spring 1995 semester from home. Law enforcement allegedly was not contacted, and no mention of actual assault was put on his record. The lawsuit was filed under the New York Adult Survivors Act, which took effect on Thanksgiving Day in 2022 and provided a one-year window for sexual assault plaintiffs to file civil claims regardless of the statute of limitations. That window closes on Friday, November 24th. On Wednesday, Marcellus responded to the woman's claims on his Brinks TV show, noting that he hadn't heard from his lawyers. While he acknowledged that he and the accuser did mess around in her dorm in 1994, he denied any vaginal intercourse occurred between them. Well, if you scroll up, she said he put her on her stomach, and anyway, he claimed that he had been invited into her room and stated that the woman asked him to give her a call the next morning. He claimed that the woman only felt shame about their encounter when she knew there was no future with me. He continued, "You guys deserve the clarity and I deserve to speak my truth because my truth is what's going to set me free." He added that he fit a stereotype as a big Black man from Compton and shared plans to countersue for defamation. Now, remember, what I just read to you was what Us Weekly put out in 2023 because a woman filed assault charges against him then. And that was around the time when it came out that this thread that I read to you came out about the guy, I'm going to keep saying it, the gentleman that worked in the office of the dean of students. I'm going to read you his thread again. Now, remember, she came out in 2023, said what he said. Then these tweets, this thread came out in 2023. "This is just the tip of the iceberg. I worked for the dean of students office during this time. Multiple victims came forward despite knowing there was a pattern. The Columbia administration convinced each of the victims that they were at fault so they wouldn't press charges." And then people, again, I'm going to go back to, somebody said, Monisha Harrell said, "It's the worst kept secret on campus. All the athletes knew he was a predator. It had been frustrating to watch him thrive all these years, but now hopefully there is some light and justice. The school just wanted their star to shine." This was in 2023. And like I said, it was quiet. Maybe because she was off the show after her first season that it wasn't followed. The story wasn't followed, but I know I hadn't heard about it. And now here we are in 2025 with 2 more victims coming out and people saying it was the worst kept secret. I hope justice is given to any victims of this man. And if in fact Columbia did what these people are saying, what the victims are saying, and what someone who worked in their office, the dean of students office, is saying and witnessed people coming in, women, child, they need to sue Columbia and the administration. Get all of them. Yeah. My heart goes out to victims because stuff like that, I don't care how many years it's been. People say, oh, they waited 5, 10, 15. That stuff sticks with you. So I hope that they can find a peace and that they get something out of this man and what he did to them. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Now I'm about to go hit this road. See ya.